If I had promised a night of spectacular miracles, we would have had a line down the street. But I didn't invite you here for fireworks. I invited you for a map. Jesus fed multitudes. Yes, but Scripture says Jesus on his part did not entrust himself to them, for he himself knew what was in man. John 2:24-25. He did not trust the crowd. He served them. He loved them. But when it came to defining destiny, he stepped away from applause and sat with a few, and he drew a map. He did not speak to them without a parable, but privately to his own disciples, he explained everything. Mark 4:34. That is selective intimacy. Leaders don't just perform, they provide a path. Write this down. Don't be impressed, ask the destination. Say it with me. Don't be impressed, ask the destination. Let that be the refrain in your spirit for the rest of this night. Before you clap for a leader, ask where they are taking you. Before you repost a clip, ask where it is going. Before you sign the contract, ask for the map. I'm sounding an alarm because charm without a compass has hijacked promotions, pulpits, and politics. This is not theory. Some of you work for a manager whose pitch deck is prettier than his product. He throws town halls, but he can't trace a timeline. Others have sat under a preacher whose voice could melt steel, but you walked in circles for 5 years because there was no plan to build people, just events to fill seats. A nation once danced to the rhetoric of a man who promised destiny with no map, and history recorded a ditch. Jesus warned us, if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit. Matthew 15:14. Blindness is not silence. It can be loud. Noise without navigation is still blindness. Write this down. Charisma entertains. Vision explains. Claps measure performance. Maps measure direction. I am not against charisma. Gifts are from God, but a microphone is not a mandate, and applause is not alignment. We will not be seduced by volume tonight. We will be secured by vision. Let me tell you a story. In a mountain village, the elders hired a drummer to lead a trek through the forest to the city. He beat that drum with passion, and the whole village followed, singing. The children laughed. The old men wept. Hours passed. The sound was intoxicating, but night fell, and they were lost deep in the woods, miles from any road. The drummer had rhythm, but no root. A quiet woman stepped forward, clutching a folded parchment. I drew the trail, she said softly, while you were dancing. She knew the rivers, the ravines, the safe bridges. The drummer asked her to walk in front. They reached the city at sunrise. Write this down. The sound can gather you. Only a map can deliver you. Don't be impressed. Ask the destination. Say it again. Don't be impressed. Ask the destination. That one sentence will save you money, time, tears, and possibly your soul. The gospel records that. When the crowd wanted to crown Jesus after the bread miracle, he withdrew again to the mountain by himself. John 6:15. Why? Because crowds want to make you what feels good to them, not what is assigned to you. He left the coronation to keep the mission. Leaders refuse to be defined by applause. They are defined by assignment and articulated by vision. Write this down. Before you follow a voice, demand a view. Where are we going? What does the future look like in measurable moral terms? What values will govern the journey? What fruit will prove we arrived? What dangers are on the route? And how will we avoid them? You have the right to ask for clarity. God never moved people without a picture. Lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are. Genesis 13:14. He gave Abraham a view before he gave him volume. He gave Moses a pattern on the mountain before he gave him a platform in front of the people. Vision precedes velocity. Some of you were trained to equate kindness with gullibility. You think discernment is rude. It is not rude to request a destination. It is stewardship. You are not spare parts in someone else's experiment. You were designed with intention. That's why, starting tonight, you must repent not just of sin, but of sloppy following. Change your mind. Retrain your ears. Demand direction. Don't just be impressed. Ask the destination. I promise you this. We are not here to critique and leave you naked in cynicism. Tonight I will give you protection and a plan. You will walk out with a diagnostic that exposes empty leadership and a replacement method that installs destination-first leadership in your own life. We are going to learn how to test for clear values, anchored vision, how to measure fruit, and how to deploy your God-given assignment. So relax your shoulders. This is not accusation. This is equipment. Let me frame the stakes once more, because some of you are still in love with the show. Music can move a room, but if there's no direction, the room will move in a circle. Promotions can increase your pay, but if there is no direction, your prosperity will only fund your confusion. A pulpit can soothe your pain, but if there is no direction, your comfort becomes a coffin. Write it down. A moving crowd without a map becomes a wandering nation. That was Israel for 40 years. Delivered, but not directed. Out of Egypt, but Egypt not out of them. Movement is not evidence of arrival. Don't be impressed. Ask the destination. Some of you need to rehearse this in your mirror. Before that relationship gets your yes, ask for the map. Before that candidate gets your vote, ask for the map. Before that influencer gets your devotion, ask for the map. You will know them by their fruits, Matthew 7:16. Fruit is the evidence of a seed's intention over time. We'll get to fruit later. But for now, plant this standard. Show me the orchard, not the oratory. I prefer a room like this, hungry, alert, few enough to be honest. This is where movements begin, not in arenas, but around maps. Tonight, I will press you, protect you, and then place a compass in your hand. Say it with me one last time, like you believe your future depends on it, because it does. Don't be impressed. Ask the destination. Now write this down. Before you clap for a leader, ask where they are taking you. And if they cannot show you the path, keep your hands at your side and your feet where they are. Your life is too valuable to be applauded into a ditch. Now let's expose the glitter that blinds the gullible. We just asked for the map. Now we must interrogate the microphone. Write this down. Charisma is not character, and crowds are not confirmation. The Greek word charis means grace, favor, and endowment. From it we get charisma and charismata, graced giftings, capacities that can sway a room and move a nation. In the ancient Hellenistic world, they even spoke of the charites, the graces, gifts of the gods, beautiful, powerful, but morally neutral. Say it with me, morally neutral. That means the same wind that fills a sail can push you toward the harbor or drive you onto the rocks, depending on the compass. Don't worship the wind. Ask for the compass. Jesus warned us plainly, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. He did not say if the soft-spoken lead the blind. He did not say if the monotone lead the blind. He said blind, sightless, destinationless. Write this down. Destination, not decibels, determines safety. Don't confuse a high note with a true north. I am protecting your destiny from applause addiction. You can be mesmerized by a voice and still miss your future. You can be captivated by a gift and still be captured by a ditch. Charisma can gather you while quietly misdirecting you. History shouts this truth. A man named Absalom stood at the gate with a smile and a strategy, whispering, "Oh, that I were made judge," and he stole the hearts of the men of Israel. 2 Samuel 15:6. He had charm, warmth, presence, but no covenant with God's destination. The result was division, tears, and death. In our modern times, we witness the nightmare of Jim Jones' personality, untested by principle, and an entire crowd drank death because they were intoxicated with a man rather than instructed by a map. This is not a history lesson. It is a hazard light. Write it down. Gifts can gather people without guiding them. Don't confuse anointing with agenda. Ask for the agenda. The Holy Spirit does give gifts. Paul calls them charismata in 1 Corinthians 12. We honor gifts. We need gifts. But even Paul interrupts the gift parade with a more excellent way. Love that anchors motive and order that safeguards destiny. Why? Because gifts perform. Vision transforms. Gifts impress. Values protect. Say it with me. Gifts impress. Values protect. So when a voice rises and your skin tingles, stop and ask, where are we going? What problem are we solving? By when? With what boundaries? According to which values? If you cannot answer those questions, back away from the stage and look for the map. Write this down. Charisma is an accelerant. Vision is the steering wheel. You can have the fastest engine on the highway and still die in a beautiful car. Who's the leader in a car? The engine? The wheel? The brakes? No one. And everyone, each part leads by function, and the steering wheel is non-negotiable at speed. Charisma is horsepower. Vision is direction. Values are brakes. If any of those are missing, velocity becomes violence to your future. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Proverbs 14:12. There is also a way that sounds right to a crowd, but its end is the same ditch, only louder. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. And assignments require discernment, not infatuation. Infatuation is lazy. Discernment is leadership. Leadership is born when toleration ends, so stop tolerating the seduction of sound. Stop renting your brain to eloquence. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. And your work cannot be governed by someone else's charisma. It must be guided by God's vision in you. Say it with me. I am an assignment, not an audience. Again, I am an assignment, not an audience. Write this down. Don't let anyone's gift relocate your destiny address. Test the content. 1 John 4:1 says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but test the spirits whether they are of God. In our language, do not believe every platform, test the plan. Ask, where is the map? What is the measurable destination? What is the moral boundary? What is the expected fruit? Who is accountable and to what standard? If a leader hates questions, you've met a performer, not a shepherd. Jesus said, My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. What do they follow? A voice with a destination. A shepherd who knows the terrain, not a celebrity, a guide. I want to rescue you from the addiction of goosebumps. Emotions are wonderful passengers, but dangerous drivers. Write this down. When emotion drives, wisdom dies. The crowd will chant. The camera will zoom. The lights will blind. And you will think you are moving because you are swaying. But movement is not progress. The children of Israel danced around a golden calf and called it a feast unto the Lord, charisma of the moment. But they were walking in circles. If the blind lead the blind, both fall into a ditch. If the entertained follow the entertained, both starve at a buffet of noise. Say this with me. Don't show me the spark, show me the root. Louder. Don't show me the spark, show me the root. You owe your future that kind of ferocity. You owe your children, your clients, your congregation that level of sobriety. The world is too dangerous for you to be impressed, be instructed. The hour is too late for you to be dazzled, be directed. Write it down. I don't chase microphones. I carry maps. So here is the protective wisdom of God. Honor charisma, but higher vision. Enjoy the song, but submit to the strategy. Celebrate the gift, but covenant with the values. And when you feel the magnet of a personality pulling you, plant your feet and ask, what is the destination and which virtue will get us there? If the answer is vague, smile, clap for the effort, and keep your destiny in your pocket. Jesus said it, I believe it, and I'm telling you for your life. If the blind lead the blind, both fall into the ditch. Destination first, decibels last. Now we are ready to test for substance. Now let us define what we are demanding. Write this down. Vision is a clear, compelling picture of a preferred future from the Creator that sets your direction, your decisions, and your discipline. Say it with me. Clear, compelling, from the Creator, sets direction, decisions, and discipline. Vision is more important than leadership. Why? Because leadership without vision is management of motion. Leadership with vision is stewardship of destiny. Vision gives leadership meaning. Without a map, the most gifted driver is just wasting fuel in circles. In the beginning, God did not start with a celebrity. He started with a concept. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. That word dominion, radar, means to rule, to govern, to manage resources on behalf of the owner. Design reveals destination. He did not say, let them have religion. He said, let them have dominion. That is destination language. So leadership flows out of vision, not the reverse. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. The manufacturer announced your end before your start. Dominion, management, cultivation, fruitfulness. True leadership is self-discovery, the discovery of the picture God already painted about your future. Write this down. If you don't know the picture, you will rent your life to someone else's poster. Let me make it so plain you can never forget it. A loud engine is not a GPS. A roaring car doesn't mean you are on your way. It only means you are burning fuel. Noise without a map is heat without horizon. I have met executives who rev like Ferraris and teams that push them like pit crews, yet no one can answer the question, where are we going? Why does it matter? And what fruit will prove we arrived? That is not leadership. That is expensive wandering. Who's the leader in a car? The engine? The brakes? The wheel? No one and everyone. But only the wheel respects the map. Charisma is the engine. Values are the brakes. Vision is the map that tells them both what to do. Without that map, velocity becomes violence to your future. Destination First leadership asks 3 relentless questions before it asks for applause. Where are we going? Why does it matter? What fruit will this produce? Jesus said, you will know them by their fruits. Matthew 7:16. Fruit is the visible, edible proof of an invisible seed. If a leader cannot define the fruit, they should not define your future. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. Don't be seduced by scale. Ask why it matters. Don't be dazzled by activity. Ask what harvest we expect and by when. Write it down. Power without a picture is a hazard. Speed without a scorecard is a scam. Habakkuk heard the same wisdom. Write the vision. Make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means one sentence clarity. If it cannot be stated plainly in one sentence, it cannot be stewarded faithfully by a team. Why? Because running requires reading. Execution requires comprehension. The clarity test is holy. Try it now with your own work. By date, we will deliver specific value to specific people, measured by specific fruit, governed by specific values. If you choke on that sentence, you don't need more meetings. You need more vision. Write this down. Ambiguity is the enemy of assignment. Vague vision multiplies waste. Vision sets direction, but it also sets decisions. Decision means to cut away. When you possess a picture, you immediately gain the power to say no. No to distractions. No to decorations that don't advance the destination. No to opportunities that are off mission. Vision selects your relationships. Vision chooses your mentors. Vision schedules your calendar. Vision spends your money. Vision hires and fires. Vision is the quiet judge in the room that tells you what deserves oxygen. That's why undisciplined people don't need more willpower, they need more vision. Discipline is the offspring of a compelling future. Say it with me. My vision decides my decisions. Write this down. Destination before decoration. The world loves decoration, branding, lights, slogans, fonts, titles, rituals. Decoration looks like leadership. It photographs well. But decoration without destination is deception. It keeps crowds comfortable while the mission is homeless. God always gives form after function. He gives pattern before platform. He told Moses, see that you make everything according to the pattern shown you on the mountain. Hebrews 8:5. Pattern first, platform second. Map first, microphone second. Destination before decoration. Some of you are frustrated because you keep upgrading the decoration while downgrading the direction. New logo, same confusion. Louder music, same wandering. Bigger staff, smaller impact. Write it down. The solution is not more sound, it is more sight. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your inner picture is your outer prison or your outer passport. Change the picture and the prison doors open. The moment you see the future God sees, you become allergic to distractions. You stop tolerating vagueness. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Toleration of unclear goals. Toleration of moral fog. toleration of fruitless busyness. End it tonight. You are not paid for time. You are deployed for purpose. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. When vision is clear, your work emerges, your gift finds its lane, and leadership becomes inevitable. Leaders don't chase followers. Followers chase fruit. Vision produces fruit. Fruit attracts. At that point, you don't need to ask, who will follow me? The real question becomes, am I faithful to the picture? Stay faithful to the map, and the movement will find you. Let us seal this revelation. Say it with me. Vision is the map that makes leadership meaningful. Again, vision is the map that makes leadership meaningful. Write this down. Before you add sound, add sight. Before you add speed, add north. Before you decorate the house, decide the address. If you cannot say it simply, you cannot lead it safely. If you cannot draw it plainly, you cannot drive it powerfully. God is handing you a picture, and that picture will become your compass. Receive it, write it, make it plain, and let those who read it run. Now that the map is on the table, we must calibrate the instrument that reads it, your mind. Write this down. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Your belief system is your real steering wheel. Skills are gears. Beliefs decide the direction. The wisest carpenter with a crooked level still builds a crooked house. The most talented driver with a broken compass still ends in the wrong city. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Heart in Hebrew is lev, the inner control center, the subconscious autopilot. When your lev is programmed by crowds, you will worship microphones. When your lev is programmed by vision, you will demand maps. Let me bring you to the jungle for a moment. The lion is not the tallest in the savannah. The elephant dwarfs him. The lion is not the fastest, that's the cheetah. He's not the smartest, that might be the chimp. And yet the lion is king. Why? Attitude. Write this down. Your eyes say that's an elephant. Your belief says that's lunch. The same elephant that terrifies the hyena becomes a menu item for the lion because of belief. When the lion sees the elephant, he does not see size, he sees service. He doesn't see danger, he sees dinner. And when the elephant sees the lion, he doesn't see a 400-pound cat, he sees a tyrant. The lion's belief creates boldness. The elephant's belief creates timidity. Say it with me. Attitude governs outcome. Again, attitude governs outcome. This is why some of you sit in rooms where the budget looks like an elephant, the opposition looks like an elephant, the assignment looks like an elephant, and your belief calls it impossible. But the moment you renew your mind, the elephant becomes edible. One bite at a time, one milestone at a time. Numbers 13 records this disease of perception. 10 spies said, we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. Did you catch it? In our own sight first. Their belief shrunk them before the battle began. Joshua and Caleb saw the same walls, the same giants, the same terrain, and said, we are well able. Numbers 13:30. Same facts, different frame, different future. Write it down. Your frame is your fate. Now, hear me with both ears. Culture has placed speed limits on your discernment. It has taught you that to ask for clarity is to be disrespectful. It has trained you to be impressed, not instructed. I was in Germany years ago on the Autobahn. No speed limit. I pressed the pedal and watched the needle climb 100, 120, 150, 170. My hands tightened, not because the road demanded it, but because my conditioning did. I had been discipled by a culture of 55. My brain began to shout, this is illegal, this is dangerous, this is too fast. But the road was built for it. The car was designed for it. Only my mind was limited. At 170, something broke inside. Fear surrendered to design. And I discovered there was life after 170. Write this down. There is life after the speed limit in your head. Some of you need an Autobahn moment with your questions. Remove the cultural speed limit that forbids you to ask, where are we going? Why does it matter? What fruit will validate this? There is life after 170 when you stop fearing clarity. Proverbs 20:5 says, counsel in the heart of man is like deep water. A man of understanding will draw it out. Draw it out. Acts 17:11 commends the Bereans because they examined the scriptures daily to see if these things were so. They honored the message by interrogating it. That's not rebellion. That's responsibility. Say it with me. My questions are stewardship. Again, my questions are stewardship. Write this down. The mature leader is not easily impressed, but relentlessly instructed by vision. Immaturity chases a vibe. Maturity chases a view. Immaturity wants a moment. Maturity wants a map. When you shift your belief about what matters, your discernment changes instantly. Right now, if you believe that volume equals value, you will follow the loudest room. If you believe that clarity equals safety, you will follow the plainest path. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The Greek word for mind is nous, your processing center. Transformation is not magic. It is mental renovation. When you renew the nous, your feet change direction. Practice this belief shift in real time. Change your questions. Replace how exciting is this with how explicit is this. Replace who is on the stage with where is the strategy. Replace how fast can we move with which way must we go, and what values will break us when we are tempted to drift. Write this down. When belief is wrong, skill becomes sabotage. A highly skilled team with a faulty philosophy becomes a faster way to get lost. But when belief is right, even average skill becomes excellence because effort is aligned with a clear end. Let me bring the car back into the room. Who's the leader in a car? The engine, the brakes, the steering? No one and everyone. But your belief is the driver holding the wheel. If the driver believes the ditch is the destination, the whole car obeys. If the driver believes the map, the car arrives. So recalibrate the driver. Decide tonight that you will not be seduced by energy. Energy is octane. Direction is destiny. Say it with me. I don't follow energy, I follow direction. Louder. I don't follow energy, I follow direction. One more time with conviction. I don't follow energy, I follow direction. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. And your work requires a mind that is married to vision, not emotions that are married to applause. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Guard the lead. Protect the programming. Refuse inputs that flatter you into fog. Receive only that which instructs you into impact. Write this down. Stop renting your brain to entertainment. Lease it to assignment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments are fulfilled by conviction, not by charisma. I am training your reflexes. The next time a leader shouts, your reflex must be to listen for the map. The next time an opportunity sparkles, your reflex must be to test for fruit. The next time you feel the rush of a room, your reflex must be to ask for values. This is not cynicism. This is covenant with your future. Immature people need a miracle every week. Mature leaders need a mission every day. And mission begins in the mind. Vision is the map. Belief is the driver. Skills are the pedals. If the driver is drunk on applause, the best brakes can't save you. If the driver is sober with vision, even on a rough road, you will arrive. Seal it now. Say it with me. My belief steers my life. My mind honors the map. I am not impressed. I am instructed. I don't follow energy. I follow direction. Write it down and write it on your heart. Because the moment you change what you believe matters, your discernment will change instantly and your destiny will thank you. Red flag number 1, volume without vectors. Write this down. If the path isn't plain, the passion is a problem. Some of you have been drowning in decibels, pep talks every Monday, slogans every quarter. We're going to the next level every Sunday, but no one can tell you which level, which ladder, which floor, or which door. That is not leadership. That is emotional cardio. You sweat, you shout, you sleep, and you wake up in the same place. Scripture says, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means plannable. If I cannot plan from what you said, it is not plain. If I cannot run after reading it once, it is not vision, it is vapor. Let me diagnose the symptoms so you can stop excusing what God is exposing. Volume without vector sounds like this. This is our winning season. We're taking territories. We're the best in the market. The room roars. The hashtags multiply. But when you ask where exactly, the answer changes with the weather. 1 week it's expansion. Next week it's consolidation. This month it's discipleship. Next month it's brand awareness. Even God is confused in those meetings. Because He is a God of order, not of improvisational insecurity. Write this down. Changing destinations with trending words is leadership drift masquerading as prophetic freshness. Charisma can warm a room, but it cannot replace a compass. Here is how you tell if you are under noise without navigation. Ask for one sentence, not a sermon, not a deck. One sentence that names the destination, the reason, and the deadline. If the leader cannot answer where exactly in a single specific sentence, you are being entertained, not led. Plain means one breath, because runners don't have time to reread the signposts. Write the vision, make it plain, that he may run who reads it, not walk, run. Which means the vision must be so crisp that momentum is safe. If the path is a fog, the speed is a fraud. Say it with me. If the path isn't plain, the passion is a problem. The Apostle Paul adds another layer. If the trumpet gives an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? 1 Corinthians 14:8. Uncertain sound. That's volume without vectors. Loud trumpet, wrong tune, no preparation. People don't miss assignments because they are lazy. They miss them because the signal is sloppy. Write this down. Height cannot replace coordinates, and noise cannot substitute for north. When a leader asks you to clap for ambiguity, keep your hands and save your future. So here is the fix, the 6-0, second destination test. In one breath, no PowerPoint. State, 1, where exactly are we going? 2, why now? 3, by when? If it can't be said, it cannot be stewarded. Try it. By December 31st, we will launch a debt-free community training center on 5th Street that certifies 200 parents in financial literacy because our zip code is bleeding from predatory lending. That's where. Why now? By when? You can plan from that. You can hire from that. You can budget from that. You can measure that. Now compare it to, we're going to shake the city. Shake it where? How? Why now? By when? With what values? Write it down. If they can't pass the breath test, stop the bus. Pull over. Don't pour more fuel into a vehicle with no address. That is not rebellion. That is stewardship. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Once the breath test passes, the next fix is the 9-0-day map. Turn noise into navigation with 3 anchors: milestones, measures, and owners. Milestones are the stones you must step on in the next 90 days to cross the river, not 10. 3 to 5. For the training center example, secure permits, sign lease, recruit and train 10 coaches, finalize curriculum, pre-enroll 50 families. Measures are the numbers that prove the stones are real. Permits approved by day 30. Lease executed by day 21. 10 coaches signed with background checks by day 45. Curriculum finalized and printed by day 60. 50 families pre-enrolled by day 75. Owners are the names written next to each stone. No one and everyone who's the leader. The permitting process leads in its function. The legal counsel leads in their function. The recruiting lead owns coaches. The program director owns curriculum. And one person owns the whole lane. If a milestone has no owner, it is a wish. If a measure has no date, it is a dream. And dreams without dates decay into disappointments. Write this down. Schedule is the skeleton of vision. Put the milestones on a calendar. Reserve review rhythms. Weekly 30-minute check-ins. No hype allowed. Only numbers and next steps. Green, yellow, red. Celebrate green. Interrogate yellow. Triage red. And anchor all of it in values. Because velocity without values is violence to your future. The map must include the morals. How will we treat people? How will we spend money? What will we never compromise to hit the date? The brakes are as holy as the engine. Passion is good. Boundaries are godly. Let me make it practical in your life. Your work, not your job. Your work, the thing you were born to do, deserves a 90-day map. State your one-breath destination for the next quarter. By June 30, I will publish a 60-page field guide for first-time managers at our company to reduce team turnover by 15% because our culture is hemorrhaging new talent. Now, list 3 milestones. Interview 10 managers for insights. Draft and design the guide. Pilot with 2 teams. Measures. 10 interviews by April 15. Draft complete by May 20. Pilot launch by June 1 with feedback surveys at weeks 1 and 3. Owners, you plus 2 named collaborators. Put it on a wall. Meet weekly. Evaluate honestly. Pray, yes, but plan with precision. God honors clarity. He told Habakkuk to write it. He told Moses to build according to the pattern. He will not bless what you refuse the blueprint. Say it with me. If they can't draw it, don't drive in it. I'm serious. Ask for the sketch. 5 boxes on a napkin with arrows and dates are better than 5 hours of adjectives. If the leader cannot draw the route from here to there in simple shapes, don't strap your destiny into that vehicle. Draw your own. Become the quiet woman with the folded parchment while others dance in circles around a drum. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders, and leaders carry maps. Write this down. Clarity now prevents casualties later. Stop apologizing for asking where exactly. Stop being seduced by sudden pivots, baptized in spiritual language. The Spirit is not confused. He is precise. Jesus set his face toward Jerusalem. He was not guessing his way through Galilee. This is your hour to end the romance with noise and to begin the covenant with navigation. When you hear the shout, ask for the sentence. When you feel the hype, ask for the histogram. When they turn up the volume, turn on your vector check. If the path isn't plain, the passion is a problem. But if the breath test passes and the 90-day map is drawn, then start the engine, set your values as brakes, and drive, because now your velocity is safe. Now we test the crowd. Write this down. Attendance is not achievement, and applause is not advancement. The second red flag is simple. Followers without fruit. Big crowds, bigger selfies, tiny outcomes. Rooms are full because expectations are low. We are counting heads while heaven is counting harvest. Jesus did not say you will know them by their followers. He said you will know them by their fruits, Matthew 7:16. Say it with me. Crowds are not proof. Fruit is. Louder. Crowds are not proof. Fruit is. I am going to confront a cultural addiction right now. We have built altars to optics. We brag about views, likes, seats, and sales photos, while the very people in the room leave unchanged. Write this down. Optics without outcomes is vanity with a budget. If a year of your leadership yields the same confusion, the same poverty, the same broken marriages, the same undisciplined teams, what exactly are we celebrating? God is not impressed with gatherings. He is glorified by growth. Jesus said, "By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples." John 15:8. Much fruit, not much noise, not much merch, much fruit. Let me give you the picture heaven uses. In the beginning, the manufacturer issued the first command of leadership. Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. Genesis 1:28. Fruitfulness is the first proof of dominion. Dominion is not domination of people. It is management of results according to assignment. So a leader does not collect people. A leader cultivates fruit. People are not trophies. They are trees. Write this down. Leaders are orchard keepers, not crowd keepers. If you measure the crowd and ignore the crop, you are managing shadows. This is why Jesus walked past a fig tree with leaves and no figs and cursed it. Mark 11:13. Leaves are optics. Fruit is outcomes. The tree had branding, foliage, presence, no production. He wasn't angry. He was accurate. He was teaching your board meeting. He was teaching your church service. He was teaching your startup. Write it down. God inspects outcomes, not optics. When heaven audits, it asks, who's better because you gathered? By how much? In what measurable way this quarter? So here's the diagnostic. Do a fruit audit. Not feelings, fruit. Ask these questions every 90 days. Who is tangibly better? By how much? In what way? Give me numbers, testimonies, and transformations. If you lead a business, show me revenue with integrity, customer outcomes, employee growth, and product improvement measured against a baseline. If you lead a ministry, show me marriages strengthened, addictions broken, literacy increased, poverty decreased, and leaders you develop who can now do what you do without you. If you lead a family, show me character upgrades, study habits, savings account balance, and conflicts resolved by values, not volume. Write this down. What you do not measure, you secretly do not value. I know the protests, but Dr. Munroe, we're doing our best. That's not a metric. That's a mood. The fig tree had effort. It grew leaves. It did its best. It failed its assignment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments are not judged by intentions, but by fruit. James said, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. James 2:18. Faith is invisible. Fruit makes it undeniable. Say it with me. Show me the fruit. Again, show me the fruit. Now let me align this with your gift. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Jobs can pad attendance. Work produces fruit. When vision is clear, gifts are mobilized. Gifts are not for gallery display. They are for garden deployment. Paul told Timothy to stir up the gift of God, 2 Timothy 1-6. Why stir it? Because unstirred gifts become silent leaves. Stirred gifts become edible outcomes. Write this down. Your gift becomes leadership when it delivers fruit to others. That is why leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to fruit. Bees do not chase loud flowers, they chase nectar. Let me press the distributed leadership button. Who's the leader in a car? The engine, the brakes, the steering? No one. And everyone. Each part leads in its function, and each function must own fruit in its lane. The engine owns torque and speed targets. The brakes own stopping distance and safety. The steering owns precision and path adherence. Do you see it? Every department in your organization must define and own its fruit. Marketing owns qualified demand, not pretty graphics. Sales owns ethical conversions, not pressure tactics. Operations owns on-time delivery, not excuses. HR owns culture and capability development, not pizza parties. Worship owns presence that reforms character, not decibels that impress visitors. Write this down. Assign fruit to functions, or functions will hide behind followers. This is why weak leaders love crowds. Crowds camouflage the absence of crop. You can hide rotting orchards behind full auditoriums. But when the season changes and storms come, leaves blow away and only fruit sustains. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Matthew 7:18. That is Jesus' quality control department. So the fix is not louder marketing, it is deeper rooting. Abide in the vine. He said, he who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. John 15:5. Abiding looks like values obeyed when it's inconvenient, vision rehearsed when it's unpopular, and standards enforced when it costs you attendance. Write this down. Values are fertilizers. Hype is hairspray. Very practical now. Schedule the fruit audit. Put it on the calendar every quarter. Bring the map. Bring the metrics. Start with your destination statement. By date, we will deliver specific value to specific people, measured by specific fruit, governed by specific values. Then ask, are we delivering? Where precisely are we short? Which gift is idle? Which value did we violate? What process needs pruning? If you can't answer, you don't need more followers, you need more faithfulness. Prune. Jesus said, every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. Pruning is the courage to cut good leaves, to grow great figs. Leadership is born when toleration ends. End the toleration of fruitless activity. Measure what matters. Write this down. Outcomes over optics. Replace the selfie with a scoreboard. Replace the press release with a progress report. We had 5,000 inches the room. We moved 500 households from debt to savings. We graduated 70 new managers. We launched 12 leaders who can now multiply without us. That is leadership. That is fruit. That is dominion in motion. Seal this into your spirit. Say it with me. Crowds are not proof. Fruit is. Again, louder. Crowds are not proof. Fruit is. One more time with conviction. I don't count heads. I cultivate harvest. Write it down. I will be an orchard keeper. Because you are not an accident. You are an assignment. And assignments are validated by fruit, not by fans. When you steward fruit, followers will find you. When you steward optics, you'll spend your life chasing them. Choose fruit. Choose dominion. Choose destination first leadership that can be tasted, tested, and trusted. Now the third red flag, energy without ethics. Write this down. Urgency with no values is a runaway car. It looks impressive until it hits a wall. The symptoms are predictable. Speed with no steering. Secrecy in the name of strategy. Loyalty tests, replacing truth-telling, and a calendar that bullies the conscience. They will say, we don't have time for that policy. Translation, we don't have time for integrity. They will whisper, keep this between us. Translation, we intend to do what cannot survive the light. Hear me, without values, velocity becomes violence to your future. Say it with me, without values, velocity becomes violence. Let me bring the car back in the room. I once had a powerful vehicle, sleek body, roaring engine, brand new tires, but one morning I turned the key and nothing. The mechanic came, lifted the hood, and fixed it in 5 minutes. A $4 terminal wire had corroded. A $4 wire shut the car down. Write this down. Small ethics failures stall great engines. You can have $1 million budget, a world-class team, and multi-city momentum, and one corroded decision, one expense covered in secrecy, one boundary ignored, one truth massaged into a lie can shut the whole thing down. Jesus warned us, if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit. Matthew 15:14. Values are your vision's eyes. Lose them, and the ditch becomes your destination. Let me name the disease so you can diagnose it fast. Urgency without values. We must move now, but they have no guardrails. Secrecy disguised as strategy. Don't ask questions, just trust me. Loyalty tests over truth. Are you with me? Becomes more important than are we right. Write this down. When loyalty outranks truth, ethics have been evicted. Proverbs 10:9 declares, he who walks uprightly walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will become known. Secrecy doesn't protect you. It schedules exposure. Say it with me. Sunlight is my friend. Again, sunlight is my friend. Now, the fix. Non-negotiables. Define the guardrails from the Creator's design and publish them before momentum tempts you. In the beginning, he said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Dominion is stewardship under a king, not domination of people for ego. So our guardrails flow from image and likeness, imago Dei. Write this down. Dignity, honesty, stewardship, justice, and purity are not strategies, they are standards. The Hebrew word tamim means blameless, whole, complete. God told Abraham, walk before me and be blameless. Genesis 17:1. Decide your tamim list now. Examples. No manipulation of numbers. No private benefits from public funds. No romantic or financial entanglements that compromise judgment. No decisions without documented values alignment. No retaliation for dissent. No lying ever. Publish it. Put it in the handbook. Put it on the wall. Recite it in meetings. If you cannot say your values out loud, you intend to break them. Write this down. Policy after scandal is penance. Policy before success is protection. Establish separation of duties. The person who approves cannot be the person who reconciles. 2 key approvals for major spend: open books, audited annually by an independent firm, a board with true independence, people who can tell you no, shared decision rights for high-risk calls, no single signature detonations, whistleblower channels that bypass hierarchy, executive compensation tied to values metrics, not just velocity metrics. Who's the leader of ethics in this organization? No one and everyone. Every function leads in its lane. Accounting leads with accuracy. HR leads with fairness. Operations leads with safety. Communication leads with clarity. If the culture is healthy, a $4 wire never corrodes because everyone checks it. Let me show you how to install the brakes. Values are the brakes. They do not slow you down. They allow you to arrive. Proverbs 16:8 says, "Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right." Your future would rather arrive intact than early. The Greek word ethos means character habits of the heart. Write this down. Your ethos is your speed limit and your seatbelt. Install practical rhythms. Monthly ethics reviews, one agenda item only. Where did our values veto a decision this month? If the answer is nowhere, your brakes are ornamental. Quarterly conflict of interest disclosures in writing, sign. Transparent minutes for major decisions, archived and accessible. Vendor rotations to prevent cozy corruption. Travel policy that guards the heart and the wallet. Sabbath rest that guards the soul, because exhausted leaders excuse sins they would otherwise evict. Now test yourself with 5 questions. Write them down. 1, what decision did our values veto this week? 2, who can tell me no, and have I thanked them this quarter? 3, where are our books open and to whom? 4, what truth have we been tempted to hide, and who knows it besides me? Where is dissent rewarded as stewardship, not punished as betrayal? These are not negative questions. They are covenant questions. Luke 16:10 reminds us, he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. If we fail the small test, the big test is already lost. I must warn you, as a father would, whatever you tolerate, you will never change. Write it down. Tolerated compromise becomes culture. The first time you let a lie live, you have discipled your team to breed it. The first time you pay a bill in the dark, you train your wallet to love shadows. Isaiah 5:20 shouts across the centuries, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Do not rename sin as strategy. Do not baptize shortcuts as shrewdness. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. And your work must be worthy of the image you bear. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Protect your name. Guard your name. Your children will eat from that name. Practical fix continued. Train every new hire in values before you train them in software. Start meetings with a 2-minute values check. Which value guided a win this week? Put a line on every proposal. Values impact statement. Make the budget a moral document. Every dollar must honor the map and the master. Rotate authority in key areas so no one becomes a gate you must bribe. And when someone violates a non-negotiable, act promptly, redemptively, and publicly enough to reset culture. Mercy does not mean muddle. Grace restores people. It does not protect positions. Jesus tied ethics to sight. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6:22. Values are the eyes of your vision. If your values are clear, your movement is full of light. But if the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? If the blind lead the blind, your calendar will applaud while your conscience bleeds. So I charge you tonight, publish your non-negotiables, prefer light to speed, and invite oversight before you need rescue. Seal this now. Say it with me. Without values, velocity becomes violence. Sunlight is my friend. My brakes are blessed. I choose ethics over energy. Again, louder. I choose ethics over energy. Write this down. Leadership is born when toleration ends. End the toleration of secrecy, of loyalty tests that punish truth, of shortcuts that sell your future for a sprint. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments from a holy king require holy handling. Walk uprightly. Drive wisely. Install the $4 wire of integrity, and your engine will take you where your vision was born to go. We have cut the noise. We have counted the fruit. Now we need a simple tool you can carry into any room, any meeting, any dream, and expose substance in minutes. Write this down. Good answers to 7 questions are better than 1,000 inspiring quotes. These 7 questions are your X-ray. They see through suits, stages, and slogans. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. The Hebrew word is chazon, revelation, a clear picture. And the word for perish means to cast off restraint. No chazon, no brakes, no map, no morals. So we test for vision. Question 1, where exactly are we going? Destination stated plainly, not poetically. Not we're changing the world. Where? Not we're taking the city. Which street? Not we're going to the next level. Which level? By when? Habakkuk 2. Write the vision. Make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Plain means plannable. 1 sentence, 1 breath. By March 31st, we will open a bilingual after-school lab at 12th and Vine, serving 120 students in grades 4-6 to lift reading proficiency by 20% this semester. That is a map, not a mood. Say it with me. Plain, not poetic. Again, plain, not poetic. Question 2, why now? Urgency, tied to assignment, not ego or trend. Esther 4:14. Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? For such a time. Not hype time, assignment time. Write this down. Urgency must be ethical. If the why is we need to beat them, go viral, or make the founder famous, that is ego masquerading as mission. A holy why is anchored in pain. You're called to heal. Opportunities that will close. Windows God opened. Why now? Because 43% of our zip code's 4th graders are 2 grades behind, and the district budget cuts begin July 1. That's assignment urgency. Ego urgency always centers the leader. Assignment urgency centers the people. Question 3. Who does what by when? Distributed functional leadership. No one. And everyone. Ephesians 4 says leaders equip the saints for the work of ministry. Equip who? Everyone in their lane. Who's the leader in a car? The engine, the brakes, the steering? No one. And everyone, each part leads in function. And each function owns a deliverable with a date. Names next to milestones. Permits Alicia by May 10. Curriculum markers by May 25. Coach recruitment, Tarek, 10, signed by June 1. If a task has no owner, it's a rumor. If a date has no name, it's a daydream. Write this down. Assignment without an assignee is negligence. Question 4. What will it cost? Money, time, attention, and what we must stop doing. Jesus said, which of you, intending to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost? Luke 14:28. Sit down, don't shout down. Cost is not only dollars, it is calendar squares, mental focus, and sacrificial no's. Every yes steals from something. Make a stop doing list the same day you make a to-do list. To fund the lab, we will reallocate $60,000 from events, cancel 2 non-essential programs, and every leader will tithe 10 hours per week to execution. Write this down. Clarity is expensive, but confusion is bankruptcy with a smile. If they cannot name what dies so destiny lives, you are funding fantasy. Question 5. How will we measure fruit? Outcomes, not optics. Weekly scorecards, not annual surprises. John 15:8. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. Fruit is not a feeling. It is a figure that proves formation. Build a simple scoreboard you can read in 10 minutes. Leading indicators and lagging results. Leading, number of coaches trained this week, student attendance rate, parent engagement calls made. Lagging, reading proficiency, lift by month, retention rate, volunteer satisfaction above 80%, green, yellow, red. If it's red, state the fix by Friday. Write this down. What you won't count, you can't correct. Replace great vibe with great variance closed. Question 6. What values guide the journey? Ethics as lanes and guardrails. Velocity without values is violence to your future. Proverbs 29:18. Again, without Shazon, people cast off restraint. Values are your restraints. Micah 6:8. Do justly, love mercy, walk humbly. Galatians 5. Fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Translate them into behavioral breaks. We will tell the truth even when it hurts to plan. We will honor people over profit. We will never trade transparency for speed. We will leave places better than we found them. Put the values in the budget, in hiring, in firing, in calendars. Write this down. The brakes are as holy as the engine. Say it. The brakes are as holy as the engine. Question 7. What happens if you aren't here tomorrow? Succession and systems, vision bigger than a personality. Moses laid hands on Joshua, Numbers 27 to 18:23. Elijah prepared Elisha, 1 Kings 19:16. Jesus invested in 12 and said, it is to your advantage that I go away, John 16:7. Advantage? Because systems and spirit are better than dependency on a single voice. 2 Timothy 2:2. Entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. 4 generations in one verse. Write this down. If the vision dies, when the visionary disappears, it was never a vision, it was a performance. Document the map. Train too deep for every role. Store wisdom in playbooks, not in personalities. Schedule quarterly hit by a bus drills. If the lead is absent for 30 days, what breaks? Fix it now. No one and everyone. That's the test. 7 doors. If the first 3 are open, momentum can begin. If any door is locked, don't break in with hype. Get the key with patience and planning. And here is your warning light on the dashboard. Write this down. If the answers are foggy, your future is risky, don't board that bus. Say it with me. I choose substance over sound. Again, I choose substance over sound. One more time with conviction. I ask for the map before I offer my back. Let me make this unavoidably practical. Take your current project, business, launch, ministry initiative, family plan, and run the 7 by midnight tomorrow. Not next month. Tomorrow. Put the one breath destination on paper. State the why now with data and scripture. Assign names with dates. List the price in money, time, attention, and sacrifices. Build the 10-minute weekly scorecard. Write the 5 values that will break you when growth tempts you to drift. And identify who runs it if you're gone, with documents and drills, not hope and handshakes. Then schedule a 30-minute meeting every week where you answer only these 7. No adjectives allowed. Numbers, names, next steps. Heaven honors order. The Spirit is not confused. He hovers over chaos to create cosmos when there is a word, a pattern, a plan. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments deserve maps, costs, measures, morals, and successes. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. And leaders are custodians of clarity. If the room you're in cannot pass this test, love them, bless them, but don't bet your destiny on their fog. Leadership is born when toleration ends. End your toleration of vague destinations, fashionable whys, ownerless tasks, priceless plans, fruitless metrics, valueless velocity, and personality-dependent visions. Choose destination first. Leadership tested, tethered, transferable. Write this down. Run the test, protect your future, and deploy your gift with precision. Say it with me. I will carry a map. I will count the cost. I will measure the fruit. I will keep the values. I will build successes. And I will arrive on the map. That is your next move. Stop chasing the person with the microphone and become the person with the map. Write this down. When you carry a map, you become the movement you were waiting for. Say it with me. I am not a crowd chaser. I am a vision carrier. Now we come to identity. Because true leadership is not first about people, it is about person. You will never become a true leader until you are introduced to yourself. Let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. The Hebrew word for dominion, radar, means to rule by responsible stewardship, to manage a domain on behalf of a king. You were created to lead and designed to dominate. Not people, but your assignment. You are not an accident, you are an assignment. The manufacturer hid a leader and a follower, a ruler and a worker, a map maker and a note taker. Write this down. God never created a spare part. There is a problem on earth with your name on it. So the first act of ownership is discovery. I want you to ask, what problem makes me angry because it is beneath God's image in people? That anger is an arrow. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Moses didn't become a leader by joining a committee. He became a leader the day he could no longer tolerate oppression. Nehemiah was a cupbearer until he could no longer tolerate broken walls. Jesus said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me to proclaim liberty to the captives." Luke 4:18. Even the Messiah announced his problem to solve. Write this down. Your assignment is the injustice you refuse to tolerate, combined with the gift you deploy to correct it. Now put the assignment in one sentence. Vision is more important than leadership, because vision gives leadership meaning. Write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means a 12-year-old can repeat it after one hearing. Do the 12-year-old test. If your nephew can't say it back, it's not plain. Example, by September 30, I will train 100 first-time supervisors at our company to lead one-on-ones that reduce turnover by 15%. That's a map in one breath. Where, who, what value, by when. Update it until a child can repeat it. Write it on a card, put it on your screen, lace your shoes with that sentence. Next, build a 12-week plan, simplicity scales. Write this down. 3 milestones, 3 measures, 3 meetings. Milestones, 3 stones you must step on to cross the river in 12 weeks. For our example, 1, design a 2-hour coaching module with scripts and tools. 2, recruit and certify 10 internal coaches. 3, pilot with 20 supervisors from 2 departments. Measures, the numbers that prove the stones are real. Module drafted by week 3, tested with 5 volunteers by week 4. 2, 10 coaches signed with competency checks by week 6. 3, pilot launch by week 8 with pre, post, turnover, and engagement data tracked through week 12. Meetings, the rhythms that keep the heart beating. Want a 20-minute weekly stand-up. Green, yellow, red on each milestone. 2, a bi-weekly 45-minute fruit review. What changed for users? What values led? What must we prune? 3, a week 12 retrospective to publish lessons. Multiply wins and reset the next sprint. Write this down. Complexity flatters you. Simplicity frees you. Now, build your team by function, not by fame. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to fruit. Recruit by gifts, not titles. Jesus did not ask for resumes. He asked for function. I will make you fishers of men, Matthew 4:19. In a car, who leads? The engine, the brakes, the steering. No one and everyone. Each part leads in its function. Do the same. Identify the 3 functions. Your 12-week plan requires content design, coaching, data analysis. Then find the gifts teachers who can clarify, encouragers who can transform confidence into competence, analysts who can convert numbers into decisions. Assign fruit to each function. The teacher owns clarity scores. The coach owns behavior change. The analyst owns verifiable improvement. Write this down. Titles impress crowds. Gifts produce crops. Bees don't visit loud flowers, they visit nectar. Let's deal with employment and deployment. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Don't wait for permission to be who God already engineered. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. That is why your security is not in employment, it is in deployment. Deploy your work inside your job. Thread it into your calendar. Set 1 hour before work twice a week to build the module. Block a lunch each Thursday for coach recruitment. Ask your boss to sponsor the pilot as a cost-saving initiative aligned to stated values. If the door opens, walk. If it doesn't, deploy after hours to the community and bring the fruit back as proof. Write this down. Fruit grants favor. They can ignore your idea. They cannot ignore your results. Activation now. Stop praying about what you should be doing and start praying while you do it. God asked Moses, why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. Exodus 14:15. Faith is not a couch. Faith is a pair of shoes. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. James 2:18. So move your feet. Tonight, write the one-sentence vision. Tomorrow, schedule the 3 meetings. By the weekend, name the 3 milestones. Within 7 days, recruit the first gift. Within 14 days, test the first draft with 2 people. Write this down. Motion clarifies what prayer magnifies. As you go, you will know. Let me speak to your mind. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Stop saying I'm waiting on them. Replace it with, they are waiting on my fruit. Say it with me. I was created to lead and designed to dominate my assignment. Again, I carry a map. When I carry a map, I become the movement I was waiting for. One more time with conviction. I am not a crowd chaser. I am a vision carrier. Guard your values as you go. The brakes are as holy as the engine. Schedule a 10-minute weekly values. Check with your team. Which value guided a veto and which guided a win? Document it. Publish it. If a milestone conflicts with a non-negotiable, you keep the non-negotiable and redesign the milestone. Better to arrive whole than to arrive early. You will discover something beautiful. When you own the map, you also own your time. Clarity cancels confusion. People who once ignored you will start calling, not because of your charisma, but because of your coordinates. That's why Jesus could tell the crowds no and still change the world. He carried a map. He set his face to go to Jerusalem. Luke 9:51. Maps attract movements. Write this down. Destiny respects direction. So here is your charge. Meet yourself. Name your assignment. Write your one sentence so a 12-year-old can repeat it. Build a 12-week plan. 3 milestones, 3 measures, 3 meetings. Recruit by gifts. Deploy your work inside your job. Move now, praying as you go. And never forget, you are not an accident. You are an assignment. The world is waiting not for another sound, but for a map. Carry it. Become the movement. Now we seal this. Covenant time. Not a feeling. Not a note in your phone. A covenant. Write this down. A covenant is a decision with duties and dates. Ecclesiastes 5:5 warns us, it is better not to vow than to make a vow and not fulfill it. So we vow and we fulfill. We don't clap, we commit. We don't admire, we act. Say it with me. I seal my discernment with decisions. Again, I seal my discernment with decisions. Before we move, we declare. Because your mouth is the steering wheel of your life. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Aim your life with your words. Say it with me. Don't be impressed, ask the destination. Again, louder. Don't be impressed, ask the destination. Say it. Vision over charisma. Again, vision over charisma. Now, identity. The world needs me. Say it strong. The world needs me. Repeat. I ask for the map before I offer my back. I choose ethics over speed. I count fruit, not faces. Write this down. Vision is more important than leadership. A driver with no map is a danger with a license. Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit. Matthew 15:14. Vision before velocity. Destination before decoration. Now the next 48 hours, not 48 days, 48 hours, tonight. First audit is you. Take the 7 questions and interrogate your own dream, your department, your household. One breath. Where exactly are you going by date? Why now? Who does what by when? What will it cost? How will you measure fruit? What values will govern the journey? What happens if you are absent for 30 days? If you cannot answer plainly, pause the hype and get the answers. James 1:22 says, be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Self-deception is the first ditch. Write this down. I will not be impressed with me until the map is plain. Tomorrow morning, audit the room you follow, your leader, your team, with honor and courage. No ambush, no arrogance. Send the 7 questions ahead. Request a 30-minute session and ask, where are we going? Why now? Who does what? What will it cost? How will we measure fruit? What values govern us? And who runs the vision if you're gone? If the answers are plain, commit your strength. If the answers are foggy, commit your service to clarity before speed. I didn't say leave, I said refuse to be blind. Proverbs 27:6 says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. Be faithful enough to ask, faithful enough to help, and faithful enough to say no to fog. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Then by tomorrow night, replace vagueness. Retire one slogan. Kill it. Bury it. Write and publish one plain sentence that states the destination, the people, the value, and the date. Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision. Make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Then attach a 1-2-week map, 12 boxes on a page with milestones and names. No poetry, just path. If you run a business, 12 weeks of customer value, product upgrades, and cash integrity. If you run a ministry, 12 weeks of measurable transformation for people, not just meetings. If you lead a home, 12 weeks of study plans, savings targets, and character habits. Say it with me. Plain, not poetic. Governed by guardrails. Within 48 hours, write your top 5 non-negotiable values and share them with your team, your board, your spouse, whoever must hold you to them. Micah 6-8 has 3 that never go out of style. Do justly, love mercy, walk humbly. Translate them. For example, truth over trend, people over profit, stewardship over show, purity over proximity, transparency over tempo. Publish them. Put them on the wall, in the budget, and in the calendar. Now make one decision this week that proves the values are real. Veto a deal that violates them. Slow a project that ignores them. Correct a report that polished numbers into lies. Write this down. Values unexpressed are invisible. Values unenforced are imaginary. Install the fruit rhythm. In the next 48 hours, launch a 10-minute weekly scorecard. Choose 5 to 7 indicators that prove fruit, not feelings. Green, yellow, red. If it's red, what is the Friday fix? If it's green, who do we thank and replicate? Replace great vibe with great variance. Close. John 15:8 again. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. Heaven celebrates harvest, not headlines. Make your meeting a garden tour, not a gallery stroll. We don't stare at leaves. We taste figs. Write this down. Outcomes over optics every week. Resource yourself like a steward, not a fan. Block 2 hours in the next 48 to study vision. Open the scriptures. Genesis 1:26 for original assignment. Habakkuk 2 for clarity. Proverbs 29:18 for restraint. Luke 14:28 for cost. John 15 for fruit. 2 Timothy 2:2 for succession. Read, underline, summarize. Then schedule a peer review of your 1-2-week map within 7 days, 2 peers, 1 hour, the 7 questions only. Proverbs 11:14 says, in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Accountability protects destiny. Don't fear questions, fear assumptions. Iron sharpens iron. Proverbs 27:17. Let someone swing the file across your plan until it shines. Identity alignment now. Say it with me. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Again, my work is my assignment. Deploy your gift this week. Not next quarter, this week. Serve it to someone who needs it without needing a stage to feel significant. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. Fruit attracts. Excellence attracts. Clarity attracts. Who's the leader in this next season? No one. And everyone leads in their function. The engine leads in power, the brakes lead in restraint, the steering leads in direction, and the driver submits to the map. That's how movements last. Now we consecrate the next 48 hours to obedience. Joshua 24:15 declares, choose this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Deuteronomy 30:19 says, I set before you life and death. Therefore, choose life. Choose. Choose destination over decoration. Choose ethics over speed. Choose fruit over fans. Say with me, don't be impressed. Ask the destination. Vision over charisma. The world needs me. I will run the 7. I will retire a slogan. I will publish the map. I will post my 5 values. I will launch the scorecard. I will invite review. I will act within 48 hours. Write this down. Toleration is the graveyard of leaders. Destination is the birthplace of movements. End your toleration. Bury it tonight. Birth your movement in the morning. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. The manufacturer is waiting to warranty your obedience with outcomes. Plant the seed, prune the branch, steer by the map, break by the values, count the fruit, and train your successor. Then watch what God will do. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass. Psalm 37:5. Now lift your voice, say it with me one last time. As a covenant, I choose destination first leadership. I seal it with decisions. I prove it in 48 hours. And by His grace, I will arrive. Amen.